Thanks for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. I'm your host, Lorenzo Melcher, coming from you live from my basement. I tried the in-person thing, which worked great, and I would love to do it again. But timing-wise, it's hard. I was doing it Saturday mornings, but now I should have thought about it because now football started and I have things to do on Saturday mornings. So I can't quite get to the place that I record at. So maybe at some point I will go back. It's just hard to do because also on Sundays, they don't open till 1. So it is a tough thing to be like, hey, you want to come podcast halfway through a Sunday? I don't know. Maybe people will dig it. I don't know. I don't even know if I have enough time to get all that stuff done. So Zoom again for this one, but just keep it on your toes, keeping you mixed up. You don't know what's going to happen. So as always, thanks for downloading, sharing, subscribing, helping grow this podcast. Over 150 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. So keep liking that, hit the little bell. You'll never miss an episode. Keep doing what you're doing to help this podcast. It is very much appreciated. So that is it. I hope you enjoy this episode. Again, it is YouTube, or it is on Zoom. There was a little bit of difficulties with this one. It's for whatever reason. Sometimes Zoom is good, and sometimes my internet's good. Sometimes it's not. You don't miss anything, but there is some delays. So just pay attention, and you'll be fine. It's just in your ears anyway. You don't have to see anything. There's just little pauses here and there. And if you listen on 2 times speed like I do, then it doesn't seem like you miss anything. So there you go. Anyway, thanks as always. Enjoy the episode.
Hi, I'm Meghan Yarnell, and this is the Nerdball Podcast.
This is the Nerdball Podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
Thank you, Megan, for coming on the podcast every week. I say it to whoever my guest is, and I appreciate on the late notice coming on, and because it was a very short notice that I said, hey, you want to come on the podcast? And you said, sure. And I'm always like surprised with people who have children. They're like, yeah, I can do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
as you were saying that, my son, who knows that I'm doing this podcast, is at the top of the stairs yelling, Mama. So I don't know if your audio picked that up, but
it did not. So.
Great.
Before the podcast, just 30 seconds ago, we were talking about how I was really tired, and you made a remark that you could just fall asleep anywhere.
Yeah,
as long as you're tired.
It's like my hidden talent. I don't know. Like I like right around like between 9 and 10 o'clock, like I'm just done, and it doesn't matter where I am. I'll just fall asleep on anyone's couch. I have fallen. This is gonna make me sound real cool. I have fallen asleep in restaurants, movie theaters.
I
can sleep in the car. Like no. Yeah, I have fallen asleep in a couple restaurants. You got to do what you got to do. I feel like I have 3 kids, and I nursed all of them for a little over a year. So that's interrupted sleep for a combined 3+ years.
Yeah.
Now, like if I can get sleep, I just go for it.
First of all, I have definitely fallen asleep in movie theaters. I'm watching a children's movie, most likely, and it's most of them are pretty good. They're entertaining, and I'll be up and watch them. But there's about usually a good 20-minute chunk where I miss because I fall asleep, and then I wake up because something loud happens, and then I'm good to go. But I just need a quick sleep. Restaurants is pretty wild to me, though.
Restaurants is pretty wild. Yeah, definitely not very cool. I don't know. Like I try really hard to stay awake, and it almost seems like the harder I fight it, like the more sleepy I get. And I'm like doing like the head bobbing thing and closing my eyes, and I can't. I've never been able to stay up late. Even in high school, like my friends would make fun of me. They were like, don't fall asleep. And I'm like, I'm gonna fall asleep. I just can't stay up late. I've always been definitely more of a morning person.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, it's not cool. But I also don't care. Like I am like very like, yeah, that's just me. Like I don't care what people make fun of me for it, because I just know how good it feels to sleep. Like where my husband, like he will sacrifice sleep to have fun any day. Mm-hmm. And I will not do that.
I was up till 1:30 last night playing Fortnite with my friend in Cleveland from Cleveland.
Yeah,
so.
No, that's
And then I came upstairs. Andrea had gone to bed, and I sat on the couch for a minute. And then I fell asleep on the couch and woke up. My phone was dead. I had no idea what time it was. And I was like, well, I got to figure out a way to get in the bed very quietly so I don't wake up Andrea. And I succeeded, except I plugged my phone in because it was dead. And I had to wait like, I don't know, a couple minutes for it to get enough juice for me to turn it on and set my alarm. Um, I sat there. I waited till it was 1%, turned my phone on, and then I fell asleep and I never set my alarm. And I woke up in a panic, like, oh my gosh, what time is it? I got to be in a podcast. But nice. it all ended well. But I will sacrifice sleep for fun. I don't know. It has to be pretty specific. I again, I have fallen asleep in cars and not restaurants, but movie theaters, that kind of stuff. But that is just like movie theaters to me makes sense. A car makes sense, especially at night, just because it's so dark and you're getting lulled to sleep by the road, the sounds of the road.
No, they have pictures of me in restaurants, and it looks like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing, where I'm just like totally passed out. Everybody is, enjoying life around me, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. What are you working on right now?
Oh, I am just decorating some mugs, trying to use my time as wisely as I can. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I'm just kind of decorating them with glazes and trying to multitask. I've got a bunch of deadlines coming up, and I have not had as much time to work on things as I was hoping. So
well,
I don't know. I thought this summer, I'm like, oh man, I have so much time this summer, to get stuff done. And then in between like driving my kids to all of their activities and our travel, it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
So now I work when I can.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you multitasking and coming on the podcast.
I had to come on to get Scott Bucher back for that unique personality comment he made about me. What unique personality? Come on.
I mean,
let me tell you about Scott Bucher's unique personality. Do you want me to? I don't know. Have I ever told you about the first interaction I had with him?
No. Well, okay. Before Scott can be robotic at times, but
you said it, not me.
But I've known Scott. I went to high school with Scott, and he's been that way for such a long time, and it's just I know that's the way he is. So when we went on vacation together,
Scott's a good friend. He's a good friend. That's all.
Yeah. When we went on vacation together, I was like, all right, let's see how Scott is out here, and it didn't change very much. That's just him, and
didn't change very much.
No, but he is. That's what. As you get older, you have friends and you count on certain things, and I was counting on Scott to be Scott, and it was perfect. and what helps is that when you're all around 40 and you're going on these vacations, you can't have any wild cards. Like we don't have time to deal with wild cards. And it was cool to go with Scott and talk about we had deeper conversations than we normally would have because there's no kids around, and we just it's 11 o'clock at night and we're sitting listening to the waves and having these cool conversations, which is another layer to Scott that I don't really get to see all the time because that it just doesn't happen. We're just so busy. When are we gonna have time to sit and talk about his mom and talk about school and all that kind of stuff. So,
that's fair.
It was cool, but I did interrupt your story, but it was it was funny when no,
he's a great guy. He really is. But my first interaction with him, he had moved from the high school to the junior high, and his room was maybe 2 doors down from mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I get this forwarded email from my boss, and it was just a forwarded email from Scott to my boss saying something, we have these display cases. And it was had the display cases already been assigned to teachers? Because I was hoping to get one for athletics, but art already took all of them. And so I was like, okay, why would you not just come to my room and ask me for a display case? I'm right next to you. So I go into his room and I was like, hey, Scott, do you want one of the display cases for athletics? And he just looks at me and he goes, oh, I was actually just talking about that with our boss. And I was like, really? Wow, so weird. So in my head, I'm just like, dude, this guy is so anyway, so then the next year, he became the vice principal of the junior high. And he was my evaluator. So I'm going into this thinking like, oh, this is going to be a breeze, like he's total bro. Like he's not going to care about this process at all. So I go in and sit down for my first like meeting with him, and he starts asking me these questions. And I have never done like a mental 180 as fast as I did that, because I was like, oh my God, he's actually like really smart. And he's actually very invested in this process. So I had to like switch real quick. But yeah, my first impression of him was not that version of Scott.
How'd the evaluation go? Was you all right?
I can't remember, but probably pretty well. I can't remember.
I mean, you're still employed, so
yeah, it
was a total disaster.
He's not my boss anymore, though. So
you didn't sleep through that. I'll tell you that.
No, he's a good guy. I had a very different first impression of him than his personality is, like very different. But I was like, unique personality. Let's talk about unique personalities, Scott. Like
my favorite part of this.
Fun.
Yeah, my favorite part of this is he's gonna listen to this, and it makes me so excited.
Yeah, no, me too. So excited.
I love you, Scott.
Me too, but unique personality. Come on.
Oh man. I when he started talking about that, I didn't really like pick up on exactly what was being said. But like when you said that, I was like, oh, did he really say that? I was like, oh, yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, somebody texted me because they were listening to the podcast before I did, and they were like, dude, you got to start listening to this podcast. Like Scott Beaker's making fun of you. I was like, what? Yeah. Still stand my ground on Disney being like the last place I would take my kids, but everything about it sounds terrible.
Have you? And I'm sure we've talked about it, maybe we haven't. Have you ever been there?
When I was a kid, I think I was like,
okay,
I don't know, like 7 or something. I don't have a lot. I remember waiting in line.
Yeah.
I remember the cable cars. My parents were like, oh, that's when we figured out that you were afraid of heights, because I guess I like screamed the entire time.
Solid.
I still won't go on those. They're awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, a long time ago.
I found out.
It just sounds like, I mean, like.
Sorry, we're a little delayed. So I found out that that if you already don't like Disney, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna go. You're going isn't gonna change your mind, because you already have a maybe like a negative mindset, and it's not gonna go well anyway.
I just feel like if that's the experience you're looking for, you can just go to like Cedar Point, which is an hour away. Like, why go all the way to Florida to be around a million people, all sorts of commercial, bad food, just people, lines, it's hot. I really hate anything that's like commercial like that, like for a vacation. It's just like it's not me.
That's all right. That's right. It's not for everyone. You and your unique personality can go.
Yeah, but Scott thinks it's so magical, and I love that for him.
Well, I do as well, but
good for you guys.
And I love that for him.
Like, have you been to other places?
Yeah. I've been all over the place. Yeah. I think, well, I told the story on here before, where the very first time we took our kids, my son was 7 and my daughter was 4, and it's our last day there. We were there a whole week. We were there a whole week. Went to every park, stayed. We were there when it opened, stayed till the fireworks, like all this stuff, and we're leaving Magic Kingdom, and got my kids in the double stroller, and the fireworks are going off behind us, and Andrew's like, "You all right?" I'm like crying. She's like, "What's wrong?" I go, "Our kids will never be this little. This place is so cool." Like all this stuff. And she's like, "It's okay." And like emotionally got me.
That's awesome.
I couldn't handle
the magic got to you.
It did.
Oh, it
did. Mickey sunk his teeth into me, and now I'm there forever. Although we haven't been in a while, so we'll see.
I'm sure you have the souvenirs to remember it by. Are you the kind of family that goes and like gets like matching shirts for like every day? Like, do you guys have like your own like shirt like theme days, and you have like your your personalized cups? And does Andrea like get on that Cricut and just make things like, yeah, she does, doesn't she?
Well, we don't have a Cricut. The very first time we went, yes, we had matching shirts for
Oh,
certain days. Yeah.
oh, yikes.
We went to Animal Kingdom. We all wore Hakuna Matata shirts.
Cool.
There
Will
was
you have a picture of it?
I'm sure somewhere. I'll definitely I'll show you. I'll send it to you.
Oh,
It wasn't every day, but there was a few days where I think of the 7 days, I think probably 3 of them we had the same shirts, and we had more packed. We just decided not to wear them. It was all based on how Lillian was feeling. Like if she didn't want to wear it, then nobody was going to wear it. So
wow.
it's fun. I don't know.
Yeah. It sounds really fun.
Oh my god, my head hurts.
I will tell you, do you remember the last time we talked and I was telling you how I'm like so sarcastic and I like accidentally offend people all the time?
Yeah.
So listen to how I'm growing as a human.
Yeah.
In my first day.
I hope it's not now because you're definitely not doing it now. Growing as a human. Okay.
In my first day spiel with the kids, I always have them fill out this like all about you thing, and it's just like, like, what do you like to do for fun? Why did you sign up for this class kind of deal? And I told them, I like to joke around a lot and I'm really sarcastic. And if you do not like to be teased and you don't like that kind of humor, if you could like discreetly tell me in this all about you thing, so I know like not to accidentally offend you. Not one kid did.
Okay. All right.
So now I'm like, well, I guess they all like to be teased and joked around with. And I can guarantee you one of them is going to get mad, but I'm going to go back and be like, listen, do you remember when I told you to tell me not to tease you and you didn't do it? So don't be trying to get me in trouble over this.
I think kids, for the most part, I think kids enjoy that humor, especially coming from a teacher, because some teachers can be. I think so, and I think some teachers can be very like, I'm teacher, you're a student. Here's our relationship. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do this, teach you the subject, and we're going to go forward from there. And
yeah, I think the key is to like not. They can't feel like you're publicly embarrassing them, and some kids are just more sensitive to others. So like if you call them out in front of the class, like some kids, like I love to be called out in public. I don't get embarrassed. I don't get offended. I'm like, yes, I love attention. Like love to be the center of attention. Some kids don't.
Yeah.
So as long as they don't feel like you're like calling them out in front of the class to embarrass them, I think they're usually okay with it.
Well, you deal with a lot different students than I deal with when it's just football players. So
I don't know. I have a lot of student athletes in my class. So it's an interesting mix, I think, of kids that sign up for ceramics. But like I had the captain of the football team was in my class last year.
Yeah.
And he was so good, like amazing. I would always like send pictures of him at the wheel to his football coach because he was so big, and he would like make these very like delicate vases. But yeah, he worked so hard. He was actually really good at it, and he told me that he signed up to take ceramics at college next year.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah.
Because he was
like
so
I needed
big.
an elective, and I really like ceramics, so I signed up to take it.
Was it the big redhead?
Yes. And so I would always joke with him and be like, hey, you just let me know when you're ready to quit football and focus on your art career.
I can't imagine him sitting at a wheel and just making this
little
so
vase. Good at it. He worked really hard and got really good at it. And yeah, he liked it.
Good.
But he did look like so funny at the wheel.
I want to see that picture.
Yeah.
He did say,
a really fun mix of kids that sign up for the class. They're all different kinds of kids.
Yeah. Are you ever surprised by who is friends with who?
I don't know. I remember being a student and thinking like the social structure of high school would be so obvious to anyone, like any teacher, like they would just know. And I don't get it at all. Like kids will tell me things and I'm like, huh. Oh, I don't know if I'm just oblivious or because some kids are like, no, we're just school friends, and they're not like friends outside of school.
Oh.
But my classes are all like mixed. I have 10, 11, and 12th graders in the same class.
Okay.
So it's kind of a weird dynamic where, I don't know, they all kind of eventually talk to each other just because they're in this class and they're moving around a lot. And so I don't know. I'm kind of oblivious to like the social tiers in high school.
That's a interesting phrase. It made me think when you said school friends. I'm like, did I have school friends?
Yeah, I think
And
I did too.
probably,
Kids
yeah.
that, like I didn't really hang out with outside of school, but I think I was just kind of friends with like a lot. I'm very social, so I would
Yeah.
basically just talk to anyone. Yes.
Me,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
me,
don't know if you got
me
that.
too. No, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's loud and clear. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my kids actually get like kind of embarrassed in public because like my son will be like, "Why are you talking to this person? Like you don't know them." And I'm like, "Well, I'm making friends."
Yeah, I think that's important for them to see that though. Like
Yeah,
it's okay to like talk to as you get older, you're like, hey, be nice to this person, or why how come when we have conversations with the waiter or waitress sometimes, like all these things, like
yeah,
it's okay, like do that. And Andrea always
being
laughs at it.
friendly.
Yeah, Andrea always laughs at it because that's what happens every time I go to the grocery store.
Yep.
Lillian, usually I go by myself because nobody likes to go grocery shopping, and I'll go, and Lillian went one time, she goes, Dad talked to like 5 people, and otherwise we
Yes.
would have been here soon. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm friendly and I like talking to people.
Well, and also because I've been teaching for like this is year 20 for me.
Hmm.
So I know a lot of people in the community.
Yeah.
I know a lot of students, I know a lot of their parents. So it seems like anytime we go somewhere, someone is like stopping to say hi or something. And my kids like are like, "Oh my gosh, stop talking to people."
How do you handle when parents come up to you and they're like, and they don't say like, hey, I'm the parents of so and so. They're like, hey, how you doing? Like all this stuff, and you're like, I have no idea who these people are.
Some I fake it a lot because I like honestly, I think I have like face blindness or something. I don't know, like I have a hard time with faces sometimes, or I don't know if it's because I have so many students and I've met so many people that it happens a lot where I'm like, I have no idea who this person is, and I just pretend like I do. And
Yeah.
sometimes they'll eventually like give me like a little clue. But sometimes I just ask too. I'm like, I have no idea. Like I'm like, I know you, and I cannot remember how.
That just happened yesterday. I was like, Andrea, that we were sitting at a restaurant, and it's like, Andrea, that guy over there just waved to me, and it was like, he looked like, hey man, like really excited about it. I was like, I have no idea who this person is, and luckily he like sat on the other side. But we usually
Yeah.
have a thing where I have Andrea like introduce herself first, and then that person will say their
Oh,
name.
that's
And I'm
smart.
like, oh yeah, good.
Yeah. I
I had
try
yeah.
to I when I meet people, like I try to make a conscious effort to remember their name, but then almost like 90% of the time I forget to do that. So I don't remember their name. And I've had so many students at this point, 20 times, I don't even know my first like 12 years that I taught sixth grade. I had like 400 students a year. So, and then when I taught eighth grade, I probably had like 200, and now I have like a little over 100. But so 20 times however many kids that was is a lot of kids,
Yeah.
and there's just not
Yeah.
enough room up here to like remember everything, especially
I
having three
yeah.
kids and I can't even remember them all the time. A lot.
I would immediately forget a name. Like they'll tell me their name, and like 15 seconds later, I'm like, wait, what was their name?
Like, oh, it's gone, it's gone.
And it always makes me think about that movie. I forget who did it, but it was like someone was like, hi, my name is Greg, and she would go, Greg. And they're like, why are you saying his name weird? He's like, that it makes me remember it. Like, oh, I will.
Yeah, I at school a lot of times will call the kids like bro, or the girls like queen, like hey queen. And it's mostly because I just can't remember their name.
Oh
They think
no.
it's funny though.
Do they realize that's what you're doing?
No, I
Oh,
don't. I mean,
okay.
maybe I don't
They
think
might
so.
now.
They just think I'm being like obnoxious, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there might be a football player or two that listens to this and they're like, you don't remember my name?
yeah, sometimes they get offended, and I'm like, listen, I
Yeah.
do not have enough mental capacity to remember all the things that I'm supposed to remember.
Like you have one ceramics teacher. I have 1,000 students.
Yeah, it's too many,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I do try.
Hey, and that's all that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I normally don't bring guests back on as soon as as soon as this, you were just on, I don't know, a couple months
I'm
ago.
so much fun with my
But
unique personality that you couldn't resist.
I couldn't. Also, I wanted to hear about your trip to Oregon.
Yes.
That you bravely took with that. Does not sound like fun. Hiking with children.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Like it was, honestly, it was such a great trip. And I think I had like lowered my expectations a little bit. Like, you know, it is what it is. But we had gone to like the Oregon coast 3 years ago without kids, and we really wanted to go back with the kids because it was like our favorite place. We just loved it so much.
What do you
and so
love
I think
about?
I told you I
you
took
love
one of
about
my
it?
former students.
Yeah.
It is, I love the diversity of the terrain. So there's like in Oregon, you've got like high desert, pine forest, the only rainforest in North America. You've got coast, you've got mountains. There's just, and it's all like pretty centrally, like you can just like drive like 2 hours and you're a completely different like type of area. It's really cool. The weather's really nice almost all year. It doesn't get in central Oregon, I think it does get like a little bit hotter, but like on the coast, it's like 70s. And then it gets a little bit colder in the winter, but like they don't really get a lot of snow, you know, in the coast. So it doesn't get like super cold.
Okay.
There's not a lot of bugs, and it's so like green and beautiful, and there's so many plants, and it's just really pretty.
Okay. Well, that all that sounds like it would be fun to go, and check it out because I do enjoy all that stuff. I do enjoy being out in the in the woods, and I work in a park, so like I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the children aspect of it is what my kids are older. Maybe they'll complain more because they're older. I don't know, but that's what it's and it's not so much like I can't parent my kids. It's like just this added thing to
I
think
totally get it.
Yeah, it's added thing to think about,
Yes. So like when Andy and I go on a vacation just by ourselves, like we'll hike, like 15 miles a day. Yeah. You can't do that with young kids. Mm-hmm. So you're definitely modeling vacation a little bit differently. They can handle like one excursion a day and then they need a lot more downtime. But we stayed like right on the coast. So we went to the beach a lot, and it's not like a beach where you're like, like laying out and like wearing, and they did wear bathing suits sometimes, but like it's a little bit chillier and it's really windy, but there is so much, all the tide pools. So like they loved the tide pools, and my daughters set up a crab daycare on one of the beaches. So they had like, I don't even know, like 15 crabs in their crab daycare, and like they were trying to like prevent them from escaping. I think they were definitely over like the legal limit for crabs in this crab daycare because it was a bit ridiculous.
It sounds like crab hostage taking, actually.
Yeah, it was more like a crab like hostage taking than a daycare. But they loved all of like the critters, and my son would love to find their sand dollars all over and all sorts of weird things in the tide pools and anemones. So we bribed them to hike. Sure. With ice cream a lot. And the older two like hiking because we did a pretty tough one with them it was like our favorite hike that we had done. It was probably like a little over 4 miles, and there was a 2,000-foot elevation gain.
Oh, wow.
So it was strenuous. Now the little one, Bayla, did not do that one. She stayed home with Abby, but okay. The older two did really well, like way better than I thought they would do. And they thought it was really cool. You get to the top of this one and you can see like the whole coast in front of you. Like it's just beautiful. But then we got all the way to the top and it was super cloudy. Oh. So I was like, oh my God, did we just hike up this whole mountain and they can't even see the view? And like right then it just cleared, like just enough that we could see. I was like, whoo, okay. But it was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. I was going to ask about the little one, but But I had cut you off right before you started. You said you took a former student with you.
Yeah. So she helped. And then there were a couple days where like Andy and I got up early to like do just like a longer hike with no kids. So that was really nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes it that's why I like going with family to like on
Yeah.
vacations. Like, hey, we went a couple years ago to Texas and with my parents and my sisters and stuff, and there's I don't know if we did. I think one time we did. We're like, hey, Andrew and I are going to go out to dinner. Can you guys watch kids?
Yeah.
And it's fine because they're on vacation and there's a pool and everyone, so that's cool. You can still experience like those types of things without having to worry about well, what are we gonna do with these guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
The kids were actually a lot better than I was thinking they were going to be. So they loved it.
Maybe that's the key for family vacations is go in it with with really low expectations of how the kids are gonna
just kind of lower your expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was like we were gone almost 10 days. So it was a long vacation because we went to Mount Rainier National Park first in Washington, and then we drove to Oregon.
So all these places that you just went in Oregon, were they all places you've been to already, or did you guys do new things too?
I think that we had been to all of them already. Okay. So because like I said, like with kids, like you've got like one thing a day that you can do.
Yeah.
And we wanted to show them like the stuff that we had really liked before. We went to a couple different places. There was this one really cool beach that you could only get to. There was like a tunnel. It's called Tunnel Beach. So it was a man-made tunnel, but like through the mountain. So you had to walk through this tunnel to get to this beach. And there were all of these agates on the beach. I don't know if you know what agates are.
I don't.
They're like, I don't actually know what they are either, but they're really pretty. And they're, I think some sort of like rock, maybe from like a volcano. I don't know. And they look kind of like crystally, like glass. They're really cool. And so there were agates like all over this beach. And my son and I probably looked for agates for like 2 hours. And we both found like a little bag of them. It was really cool.
Okay. Yeah. I just Googled it right now. So it's just okay. It doesn't say exactly.
They're not like worth money or anything. They're just, I love rocks and seashells. I have like an adult seashell collection, and a rock collection. So I would look for, like, I'll comb the beach all day long and look for rocks and shells.
I did that when I was on my guys trip with Scott and my other friends and looking for shells and stuff because I was it's fun, and then that Lillian likes that stuff, so I was bringing her home some things. But it is fun to like just look at cool things, especially because we don't live near a beach, so like to be able to experience that and to be able to like go through and find out things. Plus, some people, I'm not as organized as this, but some people you walk in their house like, oh, here's jars of sand or shells, and they have it like labeled from like vacation 04 or whatever, but
I'm not that organized, but I have one of those, like they're like these vintage like printing press drawers that have like lots of little compartments in them. So I've got like 3 of those hanging on my wall, and I've got all my shells in those, and then I've got some like glass like picture framey kind of things that I have like my rocks and my corals in.
What I learned I like is when those penny press machines. Have you seen those where they make like like you put a penny in quarters and it presses a scene or whatever? I love those, and I don't know why. Like the first time we went to Disney, anytime we saw one, like we the kids like to do it and they pressed it or whatever. And then just last week I was at my parents' house just digging around in their garage while I was grilling out. So I was just looking in the garage, and I found this book from when my parents took us to Disney, and it was full of pressed coins. And Andrew's like, "Oh yeah, is this why you like it so much?" I go, "I don't know, man. I don't even remember this, but maybe it is a subconscious thing that my parents took us around and pressed all these."
Yeah, pennies. No, those are really cool. I like those too.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a like weird
nostalgic
thing. Yeah. It's it was funny to see these. Like, oh, this is rooted into me when I was 7 years old, apparently.
Nice.
So you went to Oregon. You said you were there 10 days. Could you As far as vacation, and maybe it's specific to Oregon, could you have stayed longer, or was it too long, or what do you think that?
I would have stayed longer. I mean, because there were things that we had done. I would go to different parts. There's so much to do there. Like we had gone to that Crater Lake National Park when we were there before. But that's wasn't even close to where we were. It would have been a drive. But I mean, that was such a cool park. Like Bend, Oregon's really cool too. There's just so much to see there.
Yeah,
But 10 days was good. Like it was a good amount of time. Especially because we were in the two different places.
That was a long,
and then we came home.
That seems like a long vacation. When you're like planning it, and I would imagine why you're doing it, and you're like, oh, it's over already.
It went faster than I thought it would.
Yeah.
And then especially because we came home and like not even 2 days later left for Montana. So it was a pretty quick turnaround.
I couldn't figure out where you were at or when you were there based on your Instagram, because I was like, well, did she go already? Or what? Like, did she just post stuff when she got back? And then you were somewhere else. I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah, no, I know. I was like, all right, guys, get ready for more vacation photos. We're going to be someplace totally different.
So that was another family trip?
It was just me and Andy.
Oh, okay. So more hiking, I'm assuming, there?
Yeah, we went to Glacier National Park in Montana, and it was probably my favorite park that we've been to. Wow. It was so cool, and it's a huge park. There's over like 90 trails, so we hiked about 80 miles in 5 days. We really tried to see a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah. Did you go there last year, or was it this year when the Marshals? The Marshals.
No, the Marshals. We went to Grand Teton National Park with the Marshals last year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They went to Disney this year, so they didn't want to go to Montana with us.
But... you know what? I'm with them. Like,
oh. Yo, Glacier National Park is just it's so beautiful. It was amazing.
At some point I'll get out and check these things out, or check these parks out. Yeah. And because it is a fun thing, but we're so busy all the time. Like I don't it's and then our kids are getting older, where now the things that they're doing are more important, that they're there and they can't miss things. So it makes it a little harder to like plan for stuff.
Yeah, I mean, my kids are involved in activities too, so that's why we had to make our trips like so close together, because we had to wait until baseball was over, and then it was like I go back to school, so I'm like, oh man, we don't really have a big window for where we can travel.
Yeah.
But it worked. It was fine.
Good.
Glad we did the kid vacation first.
Yeah, I bet it made that second vacation so much better.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh man, this is gonna be like, we can do whatever we want.
Andrea and I are planning a vacation together, or trying to plan one with just us.
Disney.
No. No.
Would you go to Disney just like without your kids because you love it so much?
We talked about it. I mean, we don't make that face. There's a lot of people who are probably making that face. I would definitely do that. Because I still think it'd be fun. But no, we are planning to go to Florida, but we're going to possibly go to Clearwater.
Nice.
We went there a couple years ago. It was a really good time, but we did see this concert, like a big concert festival thing. It was going to be in Mexico, and it was like 4 days long, and a bunch of bands that I listened to in high school. And it was like, oh yeah, we can look at this. And I started texting. Me and Andrea were texting another couple friend of ours, and they're like, yeah, we'll look into it. And then I get a text from my friend yesterday. It's like, oh, it's been canceled. The whole thing's been canceled. Like, oh, okay, well, good thing we didn't like book anything.
Ooh,
there.
What bands?
I was trying to see
what were some of the bands.
I can't remember. I was trying to see, because now everything the website says is like you can't click on anything on the website. It just says that.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So I'm guessing they didn't get enough people up front to say like,
yeah,
hey, we're going, but it looked fun. Also, international travel terrifies me though, so it's well documented on this podcast. But
yeah, I mean, we've traveled internationally a lot, but not since COVID. You know, we've been to we had really good friends that lived in Honduras, so we've been to Honduras. I think Andy's been more than I have, but I think I've been like 7 times. Been to El Salvador. Then they moved to the Dominican Republic, so we have been there like 3 times. And we've taken our kids. We took the kids to the Dominican Republic to visit them.
People just move from country to country.
Well, they had to because their situation in Honduras was not safe, and there was like a
Okay,
lot
okay.
of gang activity, and so they tried to come to the US on tourist visas, but were denied. Really hard to get a legal visa to come to the US, especially if you're from any of those Central American countries.
Oh, I would imagine.
I mean, they made appointments with the embassy and paid the money for the appointments, only to be told no. For
Really?
a tourist visa, not for like a work visa, not to live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then they were looking at other countries that they could go to, and Dominican was one that was pretty easy. Well, easier to emigrate to. So
I can't imagine. I can't like people get so worked up. Like look, I get it. I mean, people, come to the United States, whatever. But like they just don't get like how terrible it is at other places. Can you imagine being here and it being so bad? You walk hundreds of thousands of miles to get somewhere else where you think it's going to be better.
No.
Like
no. And I don't think people understand how difficult it is to come to this country legally. Unless you have some sort of sponsorship from like, a big company. Even like our friend had thyroid cancer, and so she had like a medical whatever, the Mayo Clinic had like written these letters saying like, oh, we will, treat her for free, blah blah blah. So she tried to get like an emergency visa to come here to get the medical treatment that she couldn't get in Honduras, and it was denied twice. So she couldn't even come for that.
See that, and that's what's wild too. It's like, hey, there's this life-saving thing that you could do, and they're like, no, you're fine.
So one of our friends from Honduras was living with us for a year while he was interning at our church, and during that time, his family was displaced. They left Honduras and they were trying to find somewhere else to go. And his tourist visa expired, so he needed to go back to Honduras to renew the visa. Because on a tourist visa, you can either stay in the country for I think 30 or 90 days, and then you have to leave for 3 days. You can't go to Mexico and you can't go to Canada. You have to go somewhere else. So he needed to go renew the visa, but like his whole family wasn't in Honduras anymore. They had left because of like threats to their safety. So we had applied for an extension from the State Department, and the extension got denied. He had to leave the country within 48 hours of receiving the denial, and like we didn't know where he was going to go because his family was all over the place. And then when he tried to renew the visa again, once he got back to like the embassy, they were like, no, because you overstayed your visa in the United States. Like he was like, I filed the paperwork, like I did everything that I was supposed to do, and they were like, no, you broke the rules.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Like,
yeah. And so he still doesn't have a visa to come back. But
how did you meet these people?
We met them on a mission trip that we took with our church. I met them for the first time, I think, when I was 19. And then when Andy and I got married, we went back to Honduras with the church and met them again and just became really close with them. We ended up going down before we had kids to Honduras and having like Christmas and New Year's with them one year. And it was so much fun. And then like once we had kids and they had moved to the Dominican Republic, we took our kids there. Like my son's been there 3 times, not since COVID, but yeah, I don't know. Like I want my kids to grow up knowing that like the life that we live is very privileged and not normal. So I want them to like,
yeah, that is a hard thing to teach, right? Because anywhere you go here, and I think that's I have taken them to to the park I work at, and where there are events going on, and there was one where there was like a book bag giveaway and some other stuff, and I told them like, hey, this when they are done, if there's something left, you can and I kind of explained to them like, we can get backpacks, we can buy things, we can do all that stuff. Some people can't get that things, and that's what these events are for. And if you want to be here and you can help move some stuff around, and I'm sure at the end they'll be like, hey, would you like a backpack? But you can't be first in this. You gotta wait your turn, and if there's some left, cool, and if not, then you don't need it, and that's fine too. So like it's hard to find those opportunities, and you got to work hard. You got to work hard for it to, as a parents, to be like, hey, here are the opportunities. Just realize some people don't get these opportunities, and this is where you're at in life.
It was pretty cool though, because like we like went to the beach there, and they had 3 kids, and then their cousins all kind of lived like in the same area, so there were like, I don't know, like 7 Honduran kids to play with. And then we went to the beach the one day, and they're playing with all these Dominican kids, and like everyone's speaking Spanish. And like this was my son, I think the last time we went was, I don't even know. He was probably 4 or 5. And then Lucy, my little one at the time, was like 1.5. And like they never even said anything about them not speaking English. They just were like playing with all these kids. Like never once were they like, oh, like I can't understand anyone. They just didn't care.
Yeah, and cool. That's
like kids will be kids wherever they are.
Yeah, kids will just adapt, and it doesn't matter if they don't speak the same English or same language or anything. That's funny.
Yeah, no, it was really cool.
How
he definitely stuck out. Asher at the time was like very, very blonde. And where we were at in the Dominican, we were in Santo Domingo, which is like not a super touristy part of the country. It's a big city, but everyone was just like, what in the world? This kid is so blonde. But it was fun.
That's good. Go to a place, you can go to a place where he stands out.
Yeah. We had the second time we went, we had stayed in Punta Cana for a few days, and then we drove to Santo Domingo. So like we rented a car, and like I took a lot of Spanish in school, and I've always tried to keep up with it because I really like languages. And so I was like trying to rent this car in Spanish, and then we had to drive. And this was before like we had no GPS, like our phones didn't work there. So we're like trying to figure out how to get to their house. Having to pay tolls, and like Dominican Spanish is really hard to understand. They speak really, really quickly, and the accents just like, even our friends from Honduras who have spoken Spanish their entire lives had a hard time when they went there. It was just a different like dialect. So that was an adventure, but we did it. It was fun. The whole time, like my son's in the back seat, like singing and just, yeah.
See, that's the stuff that terrifies me. Like I gotta.
Yeah, but like, what's like, I don't know, like what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like you get lost?
I don't know.
It's gonna be uncomfortable for a few minutes.
We
had like an adventure. It was cool.
I'm on vacation. I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, but like you have to get uncomfortable to like have really cool experiences sometimes, and to see really cool things that like no one, I don't know, like when we go on these like strenuous hikes and stuff, like I love seeing things that like most people aren't ever going to get to see.
You know what? I'll go visit Mexico and Disney. Okay. At Epcot. Give me Epcot. I could, in Epcot, you can go to 12 countries in a matter of a whole day. So there you go.
Yeah. Like, yeah. You do you.
Before I let you go, I need an update on Heather, the axolotl.
Oh, Heather. So Heather has gill fungus right now.
Oh no.
Which I don't know. They just get, and it just looks like little white stuff on Heather's gills. So Heather is receiving tea baths every day to help combat the gill fungus. So one more thing to do with this Yeah.
And I'm sure the kids are very helpful in helping.
No, they don't do anything. They do nothing. It's my axolotl. Okay, I will say the kids love this thing. Mm-hmm. They talk to them every day. They're always over at their tank, tapping on it. They love Heather, but they don't help. I tried to get Lucy's been feeding Heather because I'm like, listen, this is you wanted this thing. You can rinse the worms off in the sink and feed it.
God.
Yeah.
I also forgot Heather was a they them. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what Heather's gender is.
Yeah.
But I also like to just see like who I can trigger by calling Heather a they them. And it's also like showing people that it's really not that hard.
Yeah.
To like use these pronouns.
Yeah, we talked about that last time.
Yeah, we did.
Seems to be very ridiculous.
I like to push people's buttons a little bit. Like, of all the things in the world to be mad about.
Yeah. There's some things that get said either
pronouns. Really?
Yeah, there's some things that get said at either at work or other places I'm involved in where I'm just like, ugh, like whatever.
Yeah, like gives you the ick. That's what my students say.
Yeah. Oh, I love those TikToks where there's just one TikTok person where he asks women like, all right, what gives you the ick for men? And it's like, some of them are like when he talks to his mom, and then like the video's over, and then it goes to this laundry list of icks that he has written down, and it types if he has a mom, like.
That's
like it's all these ridiculous things that that some women are like, nope. If he sneezes too loud or whatever, I don't know.
Yes.
Well, I do appreciate you coming on here. You really brought it with your unique personality, and at some point when I have these in person again, like I did a couple in person, it was perfect. I had a spot. But now football started, and I can't do them on Saturday mornings anymore. And then the spot I have only opens at 1 p.m. on Sunday. So I don't want to like ruin somebody's Sunday by hey, I got a podcast halfway through the day. So unfortunately, I'm back at Zoom. I'm also thinking like at some point it'd be nice to build.
Don't let Scott back on though until he.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, don't let Scott back on until he has enough time to forget what I said about him.
No, I think he's gonna immediately text me like, "Hey, just let me come on like real quick, for like 10 minutes."
Ridiculous.
Well, Megan, thanks again, and you're a ray of sunshine on this. So
I've been told.
Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, no problem. See you later.